is the Next Level Loan Officers podcast. To learn more about Next Level Loan Officers, go to becomennl.com.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Next Level Loan Officers podcast, the #1 podcast in the universe for loan officers by loan officers. My name is Kellen Vaughn, one of the founders of Next Level here in the studios today. And I tell you, I am honored to have an amazing co-host today, the one and the only Sean Z. What's up, my man?
Kellen, it's fantastic to be with you. But, you know, man, it's even more fantastic to be with the one and the only Daniel De La Torre.
Ooh.
Oh, man.
Ooh. Daniel,
man,
how are you today?
Man, I'm excited. Are you kidding me? I'm excited. It's amazing.
So coming in hot from Miami.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
if you're
absolutely.
listening to this and you don't know who Daniel De La Torre is, let me tell you, you're missing out. And if you're not a member of Next Level, well, then what are you doing? Jump on in. Head on over to becomennl.com. And for $197 a month, you can not only join our community, but you can hang out with cool people like Daniel who have had just some epic, crazy growth in the last couple of years. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Is how
they're missing out, man. They're missing out. But like sometimes I don't want to talk too much about it because I want to keep you guys on the low end. But
it's like Fight Club.
Yeah. It's just, but it's too good. It's too good to keep it a secret, guys. Yeah,
somebody said it was like Hotel California too once. But
that's probably true too. That's right.
So, and the great thing is too, if you join Next Level, then every time you go to Miami, it is a business deduction because you're going to network with amazing people like Daniel.
For sure, guys.
Are elevating your business. So, Daniel, how long have you been in the mortgage business for?
I been in the mortgage. I started in the mortgage industry in 2006 as a telemarketer for a mortgage company back then. Went through the whole crash. Didn't survive the crash. I actually jumped into real estate 2009 all the way through 2015. Got my mortgage license again in 2015 and been at it since.
So give us some baseball card stats. 2015 you jumped back in. What did your business look like then? 4 years later, I think 2019 you joined Next Level. 3 years later, where are you now? Kind of walk through the progression. And then also, you've grown some pretty epic teams. You've had loan officers, juniors that you've groomed that, are now doing it all on their own. You've not only had a lot of success, but you've contributed a lot to other success during this as well, too.
Yep. And that's the most rewarding part to me, obviously where I'm at right now. But yeah, just to give you a little bit of the story, started as an assistant, basically an LOA, a loan partner to now our branch manager. We did that for about a year and a half. It kind of helped me a lot to see everything that, he was obviously the top producer at the time, seeing all the scenarios, pass and fly by my hands, being able to put things together like that. It really propelled me to, when the time came a year and a half later to, basically go on my own. So my first year I did one loan. That was it. Second year, I think I did like 4 loans. That was that. And then from there on, it was a progression to, from 4 loans to 20. I think it was like 24, 20 something to 50 something to 2019 when I joined Next Level. That year I did 89. Following year was 2020. I did 119. And last year I did 115. And the volume basically went from, I think it was like, $700,000 to as high as, 35, close to 36 million last year. So it's been definitely a ride. And, like you mentioned along the way, I've had opportunities to, through Next Level, which I'm sure we'll talk about this a little bit more, get to coach people, build them up. And now, where they're now basically being loan officers and having their teams as well. So it's been fun. It's been a nice experience overall.
Awesome. So one of the things that, Kellen and I and everybody in Next Level talks about a lot are the ATMs, the actions that matter.
Yep.
So, what are you doing now in your business? Now that you're closing 30 plus million, 100 plus loans a year. What do you do now that generates the money, the revenue in your business? And how has that changed from just, 2 or 3 years ago as the business has evolved and you've evolved too?
Yeah, most definitely. And I think first and foremost, Sean, I think it's important for everybody to, like you mentioned, analyze where they're at in their business. When I started, the ATMs were like, I want to be on social media. I want everybody to kind of get to know me. I want to go to all the events. I want to, take people out to lunch. I want to mingle and connect with as much people as I can possibly can, so that way I get my name out. Now, guys, I've since I started the year, and as I kind of like talked to the team about what our primary focuses are for at least Q1. Number one for me is training and develop the team that we have. In order for me to be able to continue to obviously carry out a certain amount of volume and production, I need to make sure that we're fully equipped to handle that. Obviously, we don't want to go through what happened in COVID, that people were understaffed and whatnot. So I want to make sure that I'm always continue to train my staff and my team members, so that way we can, I guess basically we can just ride the, anything that comes our way. Number two, more importantly, it's communication once we're in a process. I think the most important thing to me that I see is that we're always playing defense rather than offense. And whenever we are going through, obviously, files, and you start getting calls from a listing agents, emails from a title company, even the bar, where I think it kind of like messes up your day, where now we have to okay, let me stop what I'm doing to answer, this question that we should be obviously proactively answering, right, or being on top of. So number two to me is making sure that every week we're communicating in our file updates with everybody, everything that we're doing, where we are, setting the right expectations. And number three, more importantly, right now, to me, it's also my personal development. I want to make sure that I am implanting as much information as I can here in order to continue to, again, lead people, help others, and strategize about different things, obviously, that, as we are in this changing market now. So those are the 3 ATMs that I'm focusing on my time right now, at least for Q1.
It's amazing as you progress, in as you kind of went through your whole loan officer life cycle, right? As you've kind of progressed, and it takes a while for that realization to happen. And and I loved what you said there. And I think it was maybe the first or second one there about the team, right? Building the team. And that's a hard one for most loan officers to appreciate and to understand. And Daniel, I remember you and I coaching, and we were talking about hiring a loan partner and doing those things, right? And it's almost, I say this in the most loving, kind way I possibly can, but it's like most loan officers don't believe us when we tell them what a difference it makes in their business. And that I can almost go out on a limb and say this with certainty, that the number one differentiator between the loan officer that does 2 to 3 deals a month and the loan officer that does 10 to 15 deals a month is the absence or presence of a loan partner. I'll simplify that right? That is a trait that is fairly universal when you look at successful loan officers. And so, man, kudos to you for continuing to push in on that, grow the team. You've realized now that it's not all about you, and that the more that you pour into them, the bigger your business will ultimately be. And dude, that's like level 5 thinking, right? Like most loan officers aren't there yet in their thinking. It's all about them, and hiring somebody else just takes dollars out of their pocket, when really it's the complete opposite. So I just wanted to say that because I think that's a really big point that you've come to. And I know it didn't happen overnight, but I think that's something a ton of loan officers miss.
Kellen, like you said, there's this gap between the 3 loans and the 10 loans a month. Yep. So if you're a loan officer, you're listening to this right now. First of all, you can just go to becomenl.com and we can help you with this. Second, if you're at 3 loans a month right now and you're like, man, well, how do I get there? I can't do the loan partner by myself. Go to your manager. say, hey, I'm going to take some reduced bips to until X. I won't get paid on my first few $100,000 of loans closed for the month. So I can contribute that to paying for a loan partner. Say, I'm going to chip up a little bit. Will you chip up a little bit with me? Because I know that I want to bet on myself. I mean, I'm just Warren Buffett. Let's just call him the best investor that's ever lived or breathed air on this planet.
Right.
I mean, look it up. I mean, he will tell you, and you can see in speech after speech that he has said, the best investment you can make is an investment in yourself. Bet on yourself. And so that's how you bridge the gap. That's how you get there and show, like, if somebody just comes to me and wants me to pay for everything, first of all, I don't really believe in handouts. And second, I want somebody to believe in themselves and bet on themselves.
Right.
And when they will bet on themselves, man, I will bet on them 10x. But they've just got to show that little bit. And so that's a great way for somebody who's just not quite there yet to get there a whole lot quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, Daniel, maybe talk a little bit about that, because I think that's it's an important thing that a lot of these loan officers just haven't quite gotten their head around yet. And honestly, the opportunity now, so 6 months ago, 8 months ago, impossible to find a loan partner or an LOA, right? Like, good luck. They were all super busy. They're all being overpaid. Now, as the market shifts, we may have some opportunities that present themselves, because you're going to have loan officers that were doing nothing but refis who don't want to go chase purchase business. And those folks have the technical skills. They just don't necessarily have the skills or the drive to chase purchase stuff. So Daniel, talk about that just from your perspective, man, that first hire, that loan partner, what it did for you, and how it ultimately moved your business.
Yeah, I mean, and to guys, this is again a testament to you guys, and for everybody that's either watching or listening. The first thing is your mindset change, obviously an adjustment to from wanting to go from, okay, let me not want to do everything myself, to, okay, how can I get help to do more of what I'm doing, or at least what I'm good at. That's the first thing. Second thing is obviously through you guys, how, like you mentioned, Kellen, when we started coaching, how was that, let's say, interview process was, what are the traits that we should be looking out, in a people, in people in particularly. And then the more important thing is to recognize and acknowledge, because it's a fact that you cannot do everything yourself. Impossible. And if you think that, then, like you mentioned, Sean, that's the difference between the guys that are closing 2 to 3 to 5 to 10, 15, 20. And so on. And so, yeah, I mean, when I came to the realization, that, hey, help is needed in order for me to be able to, to be able to do more of the things that I enjoy doing, that I know I'm good at. That's when I decided to obviously, take action and obviously, make it happen. And again, thank you guys enough for the advice, obviously the coaching through the process. And then after that comes another part. You need to add other team members. People come and go. What happens to that?
Sure.
You have to kind of like readjust again. And like you guys mentioned, I've been fortunate enough that the people that I've brought with me are producing now, and they've, just like everybody else, entitled to go on their journey. So when that happens, comes change. And so, again, blessed to have you guys, through all the journey and get advice to be able to, go through these phases of the evolution of our careers.
Yeah, that's awesome. So another thing you mentioned, which I think is also worth noting, was the communication piece, right? And so, as simple as this sounds, it's a real struggle for a lot of loan officers out there. And so, share with us a little bit how you guys, your team, stays on top of that communication piece, and in your words, which is proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah, the biggest thing to me, guys, is that, as insignificant as it may seem to say, yes, received, acknowledge, thank you so much, we're on it, we'll get back to you. That to me eases down everything, absolutely everything. And the way I go out about it is I tell my team, guys, if you send something out, wouldn't you be expecting at least somebody that says, hey, I got it, I received it,
Sure.
We'll get back to you, whatever the case is. So it's only natural that if you're going through obviously what we're going through, the process that we're going through, and there's so many moving pieces, I think it's only fair to let people know, hey, this is where we are, this is what to expect next, and this is what we're doing about it. So I that's basically like my basics of the communication in the loan process. How we do it, primarily we do it through our CRM, where we realized that, instead of having to like manually, again, copy a million people in one email and being responding to everything, we just add the parties into the CRM, and then we just trigger the different milestones, whatever the file is at whichever stage, whether it's opening, processing, underwriting, whatever, and then just keep the communication going. It takes a little bit of time, and for those of you who don't have a CRM yet, one piece of advice that I can give you, start working on one. Even if you have one person to enter into the database, start working on that. It takes a little bit to kind of like build whatever you want to build, but that's it. You make the investment on time once, and that's that. Everything else is pretty much an autopilot from there on. All you got to do is just hit the milestone, click, and communications goes out, obviously. So that's how we mostly do it through our CRM.
Okay.
And there's Daniel, you couldn't be any more right. And I mean, Kellen, like, we always talk about the CRM you use is the best one out there. I mean, when I first got started, I didn't have all these options. I mean, I even use something as simple as Pipedrive. It's like a fancy Excel spreadsheet.
That's how I started too.
It like that. It's good. It's way better than nothing.
Oh yeah.
Guys, as you're growing your team, I want to give you a couple of things that we tell all of our coaching clients. So number one, if you have a team or you're thinking about growing one, go get yourself a copy of Patrick Lencioni's book, The Ideal Team Player. You need to have that in your repertoire. Got great interview questions inside of it. And you're going to definitely find a spot on your team. If you haven't read it, that you're like, oh man, like I'm missing this gap in my interview process.
There it is. So for those of you listening to us, if you don't know, you can also watch this on YouTube. I've got holding up a copy of Ideal Team Player if you want to take a look at it. Sean, you're 100% right. Like that should be in everybody's desk drawer. That's an amazing guide to building your team. 100%. Kudos to you, Daniel. Man, first and foremost, dude, we love having you a part of the group. I mean, you're such a leader, and you'd be shocked. I mean, it's how many people, reach out to us and talk about all the, help you've given them and advice, and they look up to you. And so thank you for that, for being a great part of our community. Thanks for joining us today. And so Sean and I didn't have to sit here and talk to each other. We were able to talk to you, which was
it was interesting. The number of people at the last mastermind, I think it was the first one that you missed, Daniel.
That's right.
Like some family vacation or something that you were going on during that time. And people were like, they weren't coming up to me and they weren't like saying, hey, Sean, how are you? They're like, where's Daniel?
Where's Daniel? Yeah. Yeah. But we're going to make up for that in Vegas, aren't we?
Absolutely. But guys, thank you guys, obviously for, first and foremost for having me. This is obviously a great experience for me to be here sharing information with the, the loan officer community. Like I told you guys, I wish I could keep you guys some secret, but you guys are too good, too valuable for that. And, for everybody, again, that it's even listening or considering joining a coaching platform, which is a community of obviously great people, everybody's on the trenches that you guys call it. That's the good thing that I enjoy about being here with you guys. I can just call you about anything. And I'm sure if it's not you, somebody else will say, hey, I've already gone through that.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what part of the country you're in, we have, families everywhere. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that I enjoy the most of obviously being a part of. And needless to say, obviously for the money that we pay, guys, I started when it was the different format. It was $1,000 a month.
Oh yeah.
When I started, and I still couldn't say, my God, like all the value and everything that I'm getting, I just couldn't justify. Like, why do we have 1 million people here? But with that said, it's just thank you guys for everything. I love being a part of the group. For the people that are not members yet, one really cool thing that you guys get is access to a private Facebook group where all of us are included.
Yeah.
And any questions regarding anything, marketing strategies, objections, team building, you name it. Doesn't matter if you're not closing loans or if you're an assistant or you're closing, 20 loans, even if you're a branch manager, because I know we have branch managers in the group as well. We have it all. And I think you guys have done a tremendous job. I can't thank you guys enough for having me. And if it wasn't for you guys, I can tell you, probably my trajectory would have been a completely different one. So
well, listen,
thank you again for that.
That's all you and your ability to implement and move forward. So we're just glad we could be a close witness. Hey, listen, if you're a loan officer and you're in the Miami area and you're looking for a new gig or you want to rub elbows with some really great people, Daniel's one of the best. So look him up, Daniel De La Torre with PRMG, right, Daniel?
PRMG.
Yep. Look him up, give him a ring, shoot him an email.
So guys, like if you want to join Next Level, again, we talked about this, becomnl.com. It's $197 a month. It's less than a loan. Most of the comp that you're going to make on a loan for the year, we have made this a no-brainer for you. There's no other coaching platform that provides the value at as minimal investment as that we asked. So come check us out. Come be with us. We've got quite a few live events coming this year.
Yeah.
San Diego in a week, Vegas a few months after that. It's the only way you get access to our masterminds. The power is in the group. Come join our community. And if you don't, just keep listening to these podcasts because we drop nuggets here every single week that you can use to grow your business. Daniel, we appreciate you. Kellen, my day is always better when I get to see you.
What a pleasure it's been.
Friends, peace out. We'll see you.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.